on the World Wide Web of Weird. I thought I'd just get this out of the way. Let's just talk about it now, because I see everybody in the paranormal ghost world at least, that side of the things, talking about Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and the Annabelle doll all being sold, not to Douche Baggins, not to Zach Baggins, sorry, but to, I barely know who this guy is. I've heard of him, whatever. Matt Rife, some obnoxious comedian, and another guy I've never heard of, Elton Casti, buy Ed and Lorraine's home, complete with Annabelle doll. Yeah, well. For those listening on the Paranormal Soup radio network, we are a webcast streaming out live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Luckily, now on back to Facebook after I don't know what happened. But if you want to, if you're listening on the Paranormal Radio app, TalkStream Live, whatever, I'm messing everything up. We are a webcast, so if you want to come watch, or I'll narrate as best as possible. All right, let me go ahead and get this first article up here. Do you even know who the other guy is? I have no idea. I'm so culturally out of it. The Elton Casti, or is that his name? Cast? I don't know how you say his name.
I'm more familiar with the Matt.
All right. Well, this is from Deadline. If there was ever any truth to the supernatural lore around Ed and Lorraine Warren's paranormal investigation, the new guardians of their Connecticut museum have their work cut out for them. Comedian Matt Rife and TikTok ghost hunter Elton Casti announced that they TikTok, that's why I don't know him. Announced that they purchased the Monroe, Connecticut home of the Warrens, who inspired Warner Brothers' The Conjuring franchise, which includes the Warrens Occult Museum and supposedly possessed doll behind the Annabelle films. Well, I thought it was missing. That's so many comments on this. I thought the doll was missing. Remember all that? Insane announcement, Rife phrased in an Instagram post. I've officially purchased Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and occult museum, including being the legal guardian of at least its next 5 years of the entire haunted collection, including the Annabelle doll, with my good friend Elton Casti. So 5 years, is it like a lease then? Not really buying it? If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with the paranormal and all things haunted. You also may know the Conjuring films are my favorite scary movies of all time, he continued. So I'm incredibly honored to have taken over one of the most promising properties in the paranormal history. Ed and Lorraine Warren's arguably put demonology and paranormal into the mainstream, are the very heart of some of the most famous haunted stories of all time, Conjuring House, Amityville Horror, etc. Rife noted that he and Case plan to open the house for overnight stays and museum tours so you yourself can experience and learn all the haunted history surrounding that amazing place. And, of course, I saw a lot of these. I did not cover last week, really, the Dan Riviera passing with that. I don't know. I don't know what happened with him. It's sad, and I didn't feel like making much of it, besides that, we lost somebody. I don't know if it's connected to Annabelle or anything, but I'm sure it helped with the price tag on the sale on this thing. I wonder what that sale is. And he said for 5 years. Is that a lease or something? Where was Zach Baggins on this? Was he out trying to bid war on this? I swear to God he was.
Had to.
I always said if I had a lot of money and I was obnoxiously rich, I would buy paranormal things. I don't know if I'd buy this. I don't know if I'd buy Ed Lorraine's. And it's not out of fear of Annabelle or anything. I just don't know. I don't know. There'd be others. I wouldn't actually be interested in Annabelle. I'd be interested in a lot of the other stuff that nobody hardly knows about. I'd like to go through their archives. That's what I'd be interested in.
The stuff that they don't really talk about.
Yeah, I would be interested to go through all that. All right, we'll move on. Yeah, remove. I am so not with it tonight. There we go. Okay. All right. This next one's a weird one. I don't know what to make of this, but let me get the file up here from the article from the Metro. I got the Unexplained Mystery article shorter, but mystery as man dies on U.S. flight but then completely disappears. And this is the Unexplained Mystery shorter version of the article. According to reports, a man who had not been named suffered a severe medical emergency while on a Turkish Airlines flight from Istanbul to the United States on July 13th. Sadly, the 83-year-old died as a result, but it is what happened next that would remain the most perplexing thing about the incident. The decision had been made not to cut the flight short, but to continue on to Chicago O'Hare Airport, which had suitable medical facilities to deal with the situation. I mean, people die on planes. It happens. They it's not a complete abnormality to these guys. They've been doing it, for decades and decades. They know what to do when this happens. When the plane landed, however, nobody could find the man's body anywhere. Turkish Airlines had claimed that upon landing, the body had been transferred to a different flight to be taken to San Francisco, but there was no documentation to confirm such a transfer had ever happened, and the medical examiner's office in San Francisco never received the body either. As things stand, nobody seems to know what happened to it. Well, I wonder what his family says. Nothing in these articles mentions what the family's saying, like, where's the body? And a lot of these things have, like, chain of custody documents they have to be signed off.
Exactly.
They just don't throw that body on that plane there and gets on the wrong plane or something.
No.
There's like a whole chain of custody and legal documents have to go on when you're transporting a body. So this is highly irregular.
On an air flight, there's like rules from in the sky till they hit the ground, and
it seems very highly irregular.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I was just talking when I was doing my flight a couple weeks ago to Seattle. Well, I was nervous about flying. I've never been nervous about flying, but I have been because I see the cracks in civilization. I see the cracks in infrastructures and society. In an airport that usually would deal with a body and getting it to the right destination now lost it like your luggage. Like things are falling apart. That might be a sign them losing a body. They shouldn't. I don't know.
And your life is in the hands of 21-year-old stewardesses given a roll of duct tape and maybe some zip ties to protect you.
I never saw a 21-year-old stewardess in the 4 flights I had. They all looked very seasoned.
Really?
Stewardesses. Because the other young people I saw were the ones on the ground, the ones doing the light thing.
Uh-huh.
I see this one girl just kind of like half dazed out, just twirling her things, waiting, and the other girl kind of like, oh, I can't wait to go home. Like, you probably have the most important job here. Wake up, people. Sorry, my paranoia. Let's move on.
You had one job.
In case I have somebody listening now that has a flight soon, and I'm just spreading my paranoia to them, I should just stop. You're fine. You'll be fine. Take your flight. I enjoy flying. I got the window seat to look out, but I get paranoid about it because, like I said, I see the cracks in the matrix. The things are falling apart,
I never used to care.
Yeah. All right. This next one should be a video. This is, I think, this one's going to be Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, who I love. Let me pull that up, and then I got to pause it.
The creature in it.
This is from their YouTube channel here. This is interesting. You don't get a lot of good videos sometimes. These guys get some good ones, and this one's interesting. Remarkable video filmed from Tim Binnell from Coast to Coast. In Sierra Nevada mountains shows what appears to be a Bigfoot dashing through some woods before stopping to watch the unknowing witness who inadvertently filmed it. The intriguing footage was sent to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization research group by a man named Bill, who explained that the strange scene was captured in the past May in Coyote Ridge, California. While filming his dogs playing in the snow, one of the pooches seems to have spotted something unusual in nearby woods that wasn't noticed by him until he later looked at the video and was stunned by what he saw. What captured the dog's attention was a large bipedal figure that swiftly moved behind the tree line until it stopped in the area with a thick amount of brush. An unknowing Bill subsequently continued filming his family and animals with what may have been a Bigfoot watching them from a distance behind the cover provided by the trees. An enhanced version of the video featured above provides a better look at the mystery, and that's what he does. He zooms in. I'm going to mute it, though, because I don't know. I don't think he has him used in here, but just in case. But this is like the footage here. You see it. And he mentions in here on the RMSO or Rocky Mountain Sasquatch YouTube that he has kind of like this cone head. Reminds me of a Land of the Lost, like the little guy in Land of the Lost. But he's not noticing it in the video. Like he's paying attention to his dog. His dog seems to though. His dog he's not frightened by it though. The dog doesn't show any like signs of like I'm frightened by whatever's there. He's like okay, but he does seem to notice it. He stops, he looks right over, and this thing just runs on by. Or like Fuzzball. You remember the old TV movie? There was a TV movie called Fuzzball. I don't know what that is. It's not a Bigfoot, though. It's a Littlefoot, I think. But I think this is really interesting, though. I mean,
Looks like he's trying to find a tree to go behind. Oh.
The way it runs is really weird. And they talk about this RMSO talks about this, that the movement seems really weird. It wouldn't be what you would expect if it was somebody in a suit running, and I agree. And it kind of has this waddle to it. It's really weird.
Unless someone was about to have an accident in the suit and they're like running like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
That's hilarious. Never thought of that. Never occurred that they're pinching their cheeks while they're running. Now that's going to be in my mind every time I look at this video. But it's interesting to me. There's something weird.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
I know I'm being filmed right now. Where do I go?
It's not what I would expect from like anybody trying to hoax it. You know, it's like they did go for the big Bigfoot, you know, not the little guy with the cone head. I don't know. It's weird looking. I don't
Maybe
know.
they
There's something
thought
interesting
they
about
would
this.
edit it after.
I don't know. But our Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization on YouTube, this is where they got a like probably 4 or 5 minute video analyzing this. You should check it out. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, definitely check that one out. All right. Next up. Oh, ghost sighting in India. We're gonna remove this. So we got another school ghost sighting deal going on. All right, this one in India. Ghost sighting sends several Indian high school students to the hospital. Several high school students in India wound up being hospitalized after encountering what they claim was a terrifying ghost. According to local media report, a weird incident occurred in the community of Mohankara last week when a boy visited the bathroom and saw what he later described as a dark, headless human figure running back to his classroom. Sorry, I'm totally butchering this. He saw a dark, headless human figure running back to his classroom in fright. The youngster promptly fainted before being able to share what he had just seen. As his teachers tended to the downed boy, a trio of girls ventured to the bathroom where they also observed an eerie interloper, and they sent them similarly fleeing from the scene. Hysterical over the suspected ghost, the unsettled youngsters also fainted from the experience. Concerned administrators promptly transported the 4 students to a nearby hospital. Curious cases led to the calls for the bathroom, which is an outbuilding on their property, to be demolished, as the location has long been rumored to be haunted. And there's a video, I don't know, I'm not playing it, of the hospital, and these kids there. This is one of the young girls. And they seem pretty distraught. I mean, people are like, oh, they're just trying to get out of class or school. I don't know. I think there's better ways. And you know, this is an outhouse in India. They didn't have it like connected to the school, and the rumors of this thing being haunted. This kid said he saw a headless body form, and I'm saying fainting
about these ones.
It's interesting. Tonight we'll talk about it with Nigel Watson on Portraits of an Alien Encounter. He really covers these cases where it's very similar to these kind of things, where ufologists really don't want to look at certain things that happen, experiences that are more paranormal, and they want to just focus on they're aliens from space, not interdimensional. It's kind of like around the John Keel more theory approach, which I've always been a big John Keel fan. We'll get into that tonight, but these kind of stories interest me because that's what it reminds me of. All right, let's move on. We're going to run out of time. I'm already running behind here. We'll make this one quick. I thought this was interesting. Maybe not great for our understanding of our past as a humanization, but it might explain a lot about humans. Is that they discovered archaic human species ate its own. Yeah, it ate its young. Decapitation of a child 850,000 years ago reveals new evidence of cannibalization in Atapekera. Or you say that? Evidence of human cannibalism has been found in fossilized bones dating back to 850,000 years. Remarkable discovery, which was made by archaeologists working at Grandolonian Cave in Atapekera, I probably butchered all that, northern Spain, shows evidence of human species eating its own kind. Bones belong to a child aged between 2 and 4 and show clear cuts, marks made by sharp instruments, marks that closely resemble those found on the remains of animals butchered for food. It suggests that the species Homo antecessor not only practiced cannibalism but did so on its own young. Well, maybe it wasn't their own young. Maybe it was somebody else's young. Either way, gross. Sorry. But, who knows what they were going through, or they were trying to survive, and, it came down to, survival of the fittest. I don't know. But have we progressed very far since then? Have we come as any better as human civilization, or not? Are we eating our own? Some say yes, we're still eating.
Well, if Gates says...
Yeah. Yeah, let's not.
Houses
Oh,
away.
Voldemort now. You're just really pushing them up.
The alkaline, water burials in our water
Well,
system.
yeah, where they want to liquefy us and feed us to each other.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, we haven't gone much farther. When we're going to get into aliens and experiences. Minnesota man murders his neighbor who he thought was an alien.
Oh no.
Incident began last week when a witness who presumably lived at the man's home recalled being woken up in the middle of the night by the suspect to be told that their neighbor, a 7-year-old woman, was in fact an alien, that a spaceship was coming to take them away. The man reportedly called the neighbor up and asked her to come around to help him with something. When she arrived, she shot her 7 times with a firearm. Somehow she was able to make it back to her house while the first responders were initially able to ask her what happened. She sadly succumbed to her wounds and died shortly afterwards. The suspect was later apprehended after breaking into a nearby house. Exactly why the man had believed that his neighbor was an alien is unclear, but it would be reasonable to assume that he was either experiencing mental health problems or was under the influence of drugs. Whatever the case, the fear of being carried away in a spaceship prompted him to commit murder. We've had a number of these stories lately. I mean, also Bigfoot, he's been blamed too. But yeah, it seems a lot of people turning to aliens as an excuse to murder somebody else. So we have not come much farther than eating our own. Now we just have more inventive ways, killing each other. And
People are
blaming
gonna
it on
start
aliens or Bigfoot.
tripping, thinking people are robots. Are you real? Are you AI? Or like, what are you, man? Like people that are really out there.
Yeah. This last one, I have an article, but it's not what I really want to talk about. It's like my speculation on maybe what's going on. Let's move this one from the studio and pull this last one up here. All right, so we got earthquakes all over the place. My wife fears of all the animals leaving Yellowstone and that going off, and we got all these earthquake activity. But then recently in the news this week was the 8.8 earthquake that rattled in Russia. And it turns out the Kamchatka, how do you say that, submarine bases there was supposed to be some kind of secret base, not so secret, I guess. And this earthquake might have damaged some of their nuclear submarines. Right around the time a certain president is having a tweet war with another former president of Russia, and then sends our nuclear subs there, and everything's getting really out of control and out of hand. And then this earthquake suddenly seems to happen. Some people are speculating, could this have been an earthquake weapon? I mean, what did Trump say? He said, we have unimaginable weapons. Things you can believe.
Yeah, but they're hitting California too, up in that southern region. And with all the volcanoes and it being so spread out, I think it goes deeper than that. Not saying they're not going to throw that in.
Bro,
but
that's a thing. I mean, you have these stories on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and these videos of people having tremors on sounds under the ground. Have you seen all those? There's been a ton of different ones on those. Are they digging tunnels in New York? Yeah. I mean, if it was true, they had some kind of technology to use an earthquake as a weapon towards, like, say, Russian submarine base. I'd be highly concerned about the consequences of the after effects of that.
Like the volcano erupting.
Right. What kind of consequences are we getting from this? I don't know. We don't know if that's what's happening, and maybe not. It's just coincidental that it ends up hitting a nuclear submarine base at the same time we're, like, totally provoking. And sorry, we are. We need. I know everybody right now. This is the mindset of lead with a big hammer or whatever when they call it, or madman approach. The madman approach, is that what it is? I think we need to pull back on the madman approach. I think we need a diplomatic approach. Just saying, we need a diplomatic approach. And if you do have an earthquake weapon, please don't use it. We need diplomacy, not like tweets and angry words and dumb. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
About 16, 18 HARP type stations set up all around the world in different locations so they can hit weather, anything, any angle they want. Those same exact things can help control hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes.
And would we use it as a weapon? Damn sure we will.
Totally use
and
it
have.
as a weapon. They're being used as weapons.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's the perfect weapon. Weather weapons, earthquake weapons could be like, well, I don't know how that happened.
Now they made
you
that
know?
like 5 mile long, whatever Earth, what was that, 500 whatever mile long lightning bolt that lasted
Yeah.
like
And
nine.
then now every natural disaster happens in America is now people wondering if our own government's doing it to get help real estate
Well,
investment.
yeah, it's
Like to
like
buy up
climate
real estate from people.
and narrative for climate
Yeah.
crisis.
Yeah. Well, that's bull. I'm not saying that we don't have some crime problems. We do, but a lot of the blame on climate for a lot of these things does not add up whatsoever.
No,
That's it for the World Wide Web of Weird.
it's coming down.
Let's hope cooler heads prevail in the world. I'm not just Trump out there. I'm saying there's a lot of idiots, not just him, that are out there provoking things, making it worse. A lot of people, talking heads in the media, warmongers and all that kind of crap going on. Like we need actual diplomacy, and we should look at history, like the Cuban Missile Crisis and how we avoided that. And let's not get to that point. I'm just saying. And if we have earthquake weapons, let's please not use them. But that's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. We're going to go to commercial break. Our guest tonight is Nigel Watson, author of Portraits of Alien Encounters Revisited, High Strangeness British UFO Cases. And these are not just your normal UFO cases we're going to be getting into. It really looks at all the perspectives of these experiences. And as somebody who's done these interviews now for 10 years and talked to UFO witnesses and abductees, there are things they don't always tell because, it's not part of the normal patagram of what we expect from a UFO case. And I really am enjoying this book. I'm not finished yet, about 120 pages in to the book, but I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to talk to Nigel after this short commercial break.